Hello there. I recently had a revelation, and I'm hoping to be able to articulate it here for you today. On the screen, you can see Maslow's hierarchy of needs. On the bottom, you have physiological needs, and then the second layer up is safety needs. Next up is love and belonging. The next one up is esteem, and the top one is self-actualization. And if you don't know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's all about the bottom one is going to be what basic needs have to be met in order for you to feel um, stable. And um, once those are all met, then it goes up to the next one. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because um, one of my clients mentioned that there's a great deal of people out there who, from the outside perspective, look like they're successful and they look like they should be the role model for others to emulate. And yet, those same people could be miserable with their lives. And I think that the reason why this happens so frequently is because we make the mistake of putting fame and fortune on the top of this pyramid of needs, this hierarchy of needs, as if it were the end all be all. And then once we achieve that, so we're striving for it, striving for it, striving for it. And once we achieve that, we might find that it's not all it's cracked up to be. Um, the whole the grass is always greener on the other side. It may seem like it's the end goal, but once you get there, you're thinking to yourself, well, is that all there is? Because I reached this level of a success and I still don't feel happy or fulfilled. So why is that? So if you look at these, money and wealth and prosperity and success are pretty much relegated to the bottom two tiers. You can have enough money for things, but once you get to a certain point, um, it's no longer fulfilling that purpose. Because if you have enough to provide shelter for yourself, food, security, you can own property. These are all things that money can help you achieve. And yet, once you get to the third level, this has nothing to do with money. Neither do the other two. So I believe that instead of reaching this level of success and then deciding to end it all because they're miserable because they thought that there was more to life, and once they were successful, they're like, well, screw it, I'm out. I mean, I'm sorry to make light of it, but it, this is I mean, obviously this is a worldwide problem, but my idea for a solution is to redirect your focus. Once your bottom two levels are filled in and completed, then you have to move on to the next step up. So instead of thinking of an end goal, think of your life as progression forward constantly. Once you reach a certain level, then keep on going up to the next level. And I'm not saying this in terms of, it's a very American notion to always be pushing yourself to do the best and be the best and perform at your highest level and blah blah blah. That's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is you're redirecting your focus once you've met the first two tiers. Now start looking at other aspects of your life. Where if you reached the level of wealth, monetary success, and all of your physiological and safety needs have been met, now start focusing more on family and friendship and intimacy and self-esteem and self-respect and status and self-actualization. It's a continuum. Your life is just a continuum. We seem to think that there is a happily ever after, but I'm not going to experience that end unit being that happily ever after. So instead of reaching a level of success, whatever you consider that to be, whatever that looks like for you, and you reach that and you're like, well, I thought this was going to be better, and then you start feeling disappointed. Instead of feeling that, feel like this is the next phase. It's simply another phase. It's another page in the book. And I think that with that shift of, well, I got here now, is that all there is? Don't think about it as the destination. Think about it as your lifelong journey, your lifelong path. I mean, these are milestones to achieve. Maybe I shouldn't even say achieve, because achieve has that connotation to it that I was talking about. But these are milestones for you to progress and evolve as a human being. So, and here, this leads me to another point as well, and that is people that have the bottom two tiers completed and filled in and everything, all of those needs are met. These are the people that have a tendency to be of the opinion that you know, money is the root of all evil. They think of it as materialistic. They think all sorts of things about money. Obviously, we all have hangups about money. But to somebody who doesn't have those bottom two tiers filled in, to that person who is struggling to try to achieve these, to have all of these needs met, those are the people who value money, who money would make a difference for, because money helps you attain these things. And it's not evil, it's not wrong, it's not, it's nothing. It just is. If you have money, you can go and buy property. You can buy food. You can have shelter. The only two things you don't really need money for are air and water, but the rest of these things money helps you attain. Let's just face the facts here. Come on. It's not materialistic, it's just a fact. So I believe that is one of those things where it depends on where you are in these tiers as to, will money help you attain happiness? I have to say, to a degree, because I'll tell you what, if somebody is living in a house with food in the refrigerator and a roof over their head, and they have clothing and basic necessities, that person is going to be a lot more satisfied and happy and content with their lives than somebody who doesn't have any of these things. They're homeless on the street, they're starving, they're cold, they have poor health. See, who knows? You might not feel that sense of security. So I think that money can help you attain happiness in the form of having your needs met. And like I said, this only applies to the bottom two tiers. Now that you're at the third tier, you need something else. Money is not going to, you can't, money can't buy me love. So that is where the whole money as a form of happiness starts to fall apart at the third tier. Because if you are trying to buy relationships, they're going to be hollow. They're not going to be sincere. They're not going to have any depth to them. You know, these are superficial friendships, fair weather friends. They're not deep, meaningful connections. And I think that this is where the disconnection is. So to somebody who has all of the bottom two tiers met, then those are the people that are going to say, oh, money is superficial, you don't need money, blah, 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 blah. That's because they're already to that level. You can't go up to somebody who's still trying to just get their basic necessities taken care of and say, oh, you don't need money. That person's going to look at you like you're an idiot. So consider that once you go through these different tiers, your concept of where you need to be is going to change. Your perspective is going to adjust as you rise up through these tiers. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of the process of existing as a person. So I feel like we need to, every time we reach that point where we've achieved something we thought would be the ultimate thing that would bring us happiness for the rest of our lives, you know, it's just like climbing up a mountain. You think you're reaching the peak of the mountain, and then once you get there, you look up and you realize that there's another peak that you didn't even see before. So that's how this whole structure works, is that what you're going to go through whatever you need to get through to get to this peak. And then once you've gotten to that peak, now you can reassess. Now your perspective has changed. Now you have a new focus that you're aiming at. So instead of, throwing up your hands and giving up because you thought that this was the top of the mountain, and well, I guess some people do that, but maybe that's a bad analogy. They just say, screw it, I'm not going to get to the top of this mountain. But this is the journey. So it's okay if once you reach the fame and fortune that you wanted, that it wasn't everything that you thought you needed, because your needs have now changed as a result of you reaching this new tier. So now, once you have the family, the friendships, the intimacy, the love, the sense of belonging, the sense of community, now the other things start becoming more and more important to you. So now you want, respect, you want status, your self-esteem is at the forefront. So just consider where you're at in this hierarchy of needs and where you should be focusing. So if you, oh my gosh, okay, so there's so many celebrities that I've seen, who they have it all and then they just throw their lives away because they think to themselves, well, if this is all there is, then what do I have to look forward to? Well, you know what you have to look forward to? Those top 3 tiers. And if you think that you can reach the top of self-actualization and still be in the predicament you're in now, think again. Because self-actualization and self-realization is eternal. Even if you can reach a state of bliss, staying in that state of bliss for the rest of your life is really hard. It's a minute to minute, moment to moment thing. So once you reach that point, that's where the fun begins, because it's ever unfolding. It's just like the lotus flower with infinite petals. So if you're in a dark place wherever you are on these, on this hierarchy, if you're in a dark place, start looking at the next tier up and thinking to yourself, what do I need to get there? What part of my life is not complete yet? So I'm hoping that I was able to get a little bit of this concept across for you. Once I gain a little bit more clarity around the connection between wealth, money, fame, fortune, success, um, suicidal tendencies, the hierarchy of needs, the connection between all of these. Uh, I might try to do another one of these videos about this. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you got value out of this, and have a great day.